The rain had just stopped when Detective Ion Mirza arrived at Willow Creek. The air smelled of damp earth and pine needles, the kind of freshness that hides secrets beneath it. Willow Creek was a small town tucked between two ridges, where everyone knew everyone, or thought they did. Tonight, however, it was buzzing with whispers, fear, and suspicion. A child had gone missing. The child's name was Sarah Haniff, a 12-year-old with bright eyes and a wild imagination. She was last seen walking home from school on the old dirt path that curved by the creek. Her backpack was found. But not her. Ion adjusted his trench coat and walked toward the cluster of townsfolk gathered near the sheriff's office. Sheriff Kamal greeted him with a firm handshake, though his eyes looked restless. "Glad you came," Kamal muttered, almost under his breath. Ion had worked with him before, years back, when another mystery had shaken the nearby valley. "Tell me everything," Ion said firmly. Sarah was seen at 3:15 p.m. leaving school, Kamal explained. Two friends, Iman and Shazia, said she waved goodbye and took the shortcut home. "The shortcut by the creek?" Ion asked. Kamal nodded. By 4 p.m., her mother, Farah, called the school when Sarah hadn't returned. By 4:30, a search party was out. And we found her bag half buried in mud near the trail. No footprints, just nothing. The townsfolk behind them whispered, exchanging theories like trading cards. Some blamed outsiders. Some blamed ghosts. And some, more darkly, blamed each other. Ion knew enough about small towns. When something terrible happens, the mass people will start to crack. He needed to see the scene for himself. As he walked the trail, the shadows of tall pines seemed to close in. The creek murmured beside him, carrying secrets downstream. The backpack lay on a rock, still damp. Inside, there were school books, a pencil case, and a folded note. The note read, "Meet me at the old mill after school. Don't tell anyone." A chill ran down Ion's spine. He bagged the note carefully and continued to the old mill. The mill had been abandoned for decades, ever since an accident killed 2 workers. Some claimed it was haunted. Others said it was a hangout for rebellious teens. The doors creaked as Ion pushed them open. Dust floated in the air like ghosts of the past. He spotted footprints in the dust, small ones, like a child's. But alongside them, larger prints. Fresh, heavy, and deliberate. He followed them to the back of the mill where the wallboards had been shifted. Behind them was a hidden compartment. Inside, he found nothing but an old blanket and a lantern. Whoever had been here had left recently. "Sarah," Ion whispered, as though calling her name might summon her back. The sound of footsteps echoed behind him. He spun around, hand on his revolver. It was Iman, Sarah's friend. Her eyes were wide with fear. "Detective, I came to tell you something." "Go on," Ion urged gently. "Sarah told me she had a secret," Iman said. "She said someone in town was watching her. She didn't say who." "Why didn't you tell this to the sheriff?" "Because I was scared." What if it was someone powerful? Ion crouched to her level. "You're brave to tell me now. Did she ever mention the mill?" "Yes," Iman whispered. "She said she heard voices there at night." The detective's eyes narrowed. Voices in an abandoned mill usually meant one thing: someone was using it. He escorted Iman back to town, instructing her to stay safe. By the time he reached the inn to rest, the storm clouds had gathered again. The town seemed quieter, but more tense. He couldn't shake the image of the note. Who had written it? Why lure a child to such a place? The next morning, Ayon began interviews. Farah, Sarah's mother, was pale and shaking. She was my only child, she wept. Her husband, Nadim, stood stiffly by her side, his face unreadable. We'll find her, Ayon promised. But inside, he wasn't so sure. He then visited the school. The teacher, Miss Nadia, looked nervous. Sarah was a dreamer, she said. Always writing in her journal. Do you have her journal? Ayon asked. Nadia hesitated. Yes, in her desk. I was keeping it safe. The journal was leather-bound, filled with sketches and notes. On the last page, Sarah had written, I know who's hiding in the mill. But if I tell, they'll hurt me. Ayon felt his heartbeat quicken. This wasn't just a disappearance, it was a cover-up. He questioned several townsfolk that day. The grocer said he'd seen Sarah buying candy yesterday. The librarian said Sarah had checked out books on mysteries. And the postman said he'd seen a stranger lurking near the creek last week. A stranger? In Willow Creek, strangers were rare. Ayon asked for a description. Tall, wearing a cap, kept his head down, the postman said. There wasn't much to go on. Back at the sheriff's office, Ayon laid out the evidence. Note. Journal. Stranger. Mill, he said. Sheriff Kamal rubbed his chin. Whoever it is, they're smart. They left almost nothing. But Ayon disagreed. Everyone leaves something, he murmured. That night, he returned to the mill. The lantern was still there. He lit it and looked closely at the floorboards. Something glimmered in the dust. A small silver locket. Inside was a picture of Sarah. And on the back, engraved initials, R.A. His mind raced. Who in town had those initials? He listed them mentally. Rafiq Ahmed, the blacksmith. Rahim Anwar, the innkeeper. Ronia Adil, the baker. Could one of them be involved? Or was it planted to mislead? A sudden noise outside snapped his thoughts. He extinguished the lantern and crouched. Through the cracks, he saw a figure moving. The figure slipped inside. Ayon lunged, grabbing the intruder. It was Shazia, Sarah's other friend. What are you doing here? Ayon demanded. Shazia trembled. I followed Sarah once. She came here. She wasn't alone. Who was with her? Shazia hesitated. A man. I don't know who. But he gave her something shiny. Ayon showed her the locket. Shazia's eyes widened. That's it. That's what he gave her. Now Ayon knew the locket wasn't misplaced, it was a gift. But why give it and then abduct her? Unless the man cared for her in some twisted way. He sent Shazia home and began digging into the three names. Rafiq Ahmed, the blacksmith, was burly, gruff, and solitary. But he had no children, no family, and no alibi. Rahim Anwar, the innkeeper, had been seen serving customers at the time Sarah disappeared. Ronia Adil, The baker was kind and cheerful but strangely defensive when asked about Sarah. I barely knew her, Ronia insisted. Yet Ion noticed flour on her sleeves, and a nervous twitch in her hands. He kept pressing. Did Sarah ever come to your shop? Yes, sometimes. She liked sweet bread. Did you ever give her gifts? Ronia froze. And no. Why would I? Her reaction was too sharp. Ion left but kept her in mind. The next clue came unexpectedly. A fisherman by the creek reported hearing a child's cry 2 nights ago, near the caves by the water. Ion hurried there at once. The caves were dark, damp, echoing. He called Sarah's name. No response. But deeper inside, he found a scarf. Farah confirmed it was Sarah's. Now Ion was certain. Sarah was alive. Someone was keeping her. But who and why? He replayed the clues in his head, the note, the locket, the voices at the mill, the caves. Someone with access to both places. Someone Sarah trusted enough to follow. On the 3rd night, Ion set a trap. He placed Sarah's backpack at the mill entrance and hid. Hours passed. Then, footsteps. The door creaked open. A figure entered. It was Ronia Adil. She lifted the backpack and whispered, "Sarah." Ion stepped out. "Where is she?" Ronia gasped, dropping the bag. I didn't mean harm," she stammered. "Then where is she?" Ion pressed. Tears filled Ronia's eyes. "In the caves. I kept her there. I only wanted to protect her." "Protect her? From what?" "From her father." Ion froze. "What do you mean?" Ronia sobbed. "Nadim. He hurt her. She told me. She begged me not to tell anyone." Ion's stomach turned. "So you took her?" "Yes. I thought I was saving her. I left a note, gave her the locket. She trusted me. But hiding her made it worse," Ion said. Ronia nodded miserably. "Please. Don't let him find her." Ion rushed to the caves with Ronia leading. In the far corner, wrapped in a blanket, was Sarah. She was weak but alive. "Sarah," Ion whispered, kneeling beside her. She opened her eyes slowly. "Detective. You're safe now." He carried her out into the night air, where the townsfolk had gathered. Farah wept with relief. Nadim tried to rush forward, but Ion blocked him. "Not so fast," Ion said. "Your daughter has something to say." Sarah clutched her mother's hand. "It was Baba," she whispered. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Nadim's face hardened. "She's lying," he roared. But his eyes betrayed him. Ion had seen that look before, the look of guilt. Sheriff Kamal stepped in and arrested him. Farah collapsed, torn between grief and fury. Ronia was also taken, though for lesser charges. The truth spread quickly through Willow Creek. The perfect family was not so perfect. And the kind baker had carried a terrible secret. In the days that followed, Sarah stayed with her mother and received help from townsfolk. Ion visited often, checking on her. "You were very brave," he told her. "You solved the mystery before I did. You left the clues." Sarah smiled faintly. I just wanted someone to listen. And Ion had listened. The town began to heal. Those scars remained. Gossip shifted into sympathy. And Willow Creek learned that even in a place where everyone knows everyone, shadows can linger. As Ion prepared to leave, Sheriff Kamal thanked him. You saved her life. She saved herself, Ion replied. I just followed her trail. The detective walked down the dirt path one last time. The creek murmured beside him, softer now, almost peaceful. But he knew mysteries never truly ended. They only waited, like shadows in the trees. Waiting for the next whisper, the next secret, the next case. Ion pulled his coat tighter and kept walking. For in a town like Willow Creek, the silence itself was a mystery. And silence, he had learned, always spoke the loudest. The rain began again, washing away footprints. But not memories. Not truths. Not the bravery of a girl named Sarah Hanif. And so, the mystery of Willow Creek was solved. Or at least, one of them. For in every quiet corner, every shadowed creek, another story waited. And Detective Ion Mirza would be ready. Always ready. For mysteries had a way of finding him. Just as Sarah's had. And just as the next one surely would. The night closed in. But Ion walked on. The town behind him whispered once more. And the mystery of Willow Creek became legend.